any sort of like leeway on that. I think like just visually, he sort of was locked in just being a Mexican, which
sure.
I remember growing up just being like, so the one insult the insult that is applied to that is that they're fast, and
yeah, I never really got why it was mean.
No, going back into it though and watching old Speedy Gonzalez cartoons, it's more. There's more things you like find. Like there's this on-running joke that. Because someone every time so every Speedy Gonzalez cartoons opens up with a cat assaulting a small village of mice a lot of the times, or like a bad guy of some sort, and it's always like we need help. We need Speedy Gonzalez, and then it's like, does anybody know Speedy Gonzalez? And he's like, Speedy Gonzalez knows my sister, and then somebody says, Speedy Gonzalez knows everyone's sister. And literally that joke is in every episode, and you just kind of like, you blow past it. And
sure.
And I was like, oh, it's still not super insulting though. That's like this like that's more just white anger coming through in this like weird thing, because it's like, so you're mad at them because they're too quick for you. And they're sleeping with your sisters. That's pretty much. I want to be a part of the race that is. Like, I want to be a part of the race that's the only thing anybody gets mad about is that they're just I can't catch them and they keep trying to fuck my sister. That's bad. Like that is. Those are two things I think.
It's not that they keep trying to. They do.
They're
the
just
sisters into
they're sexy. They're
the sisters
sexy
are like yes.
Yeah. That's It's, yeah. There's consent all across the board there. It's not like Pepe Le Pew holding down a cat.
I can't imagine that at any point in the creation of the Speedy Gonzalez cartoon, anyone was all like, but what are we saying about the Mexican culture?
Yeah, no, no. I mean, like Disney and Looney Tunes cartoons were a part of World War II, and there's like, if they weren't like attacking Germans, they were definitely making fun of Japanese people.
Sure.
To like a strong negative degree. So it's like, I guess it's like war is a big part of that too. Like war is a big way to like draw a line that you never had before. I think like I never would have assumed as a child that like I don't know that the next big bad guy for Americans was going to be Middle Eastern people. Growing up, like growing up where I grew up at least. It's like we had enough bad guys on our list. I think in our heads. Like people that we were already distrustful of, and then like it just seems like because of Desert Storm and 9/11 and everything, all of a sudden it all kind of flipped around, and comedians use that as like sort of mid-ground fodder a lot, where it's like I've seen like Dave Chappelle just say like, "Hey, welcome to being black" or whatever to like Middle Eastern people, and
I just watched the Dave Chappelle new special, and he essentially said that to women about what was going on with them, like having to complain about being harassed and stuff. Yeah. He's like, welcome to being black.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. Again, if your only heritage was brought here against your will, I don't understand. Yeah, you can be angry, it's totally fine.
And everything you hear...
everyone's shitty to you constantly.
Yeah, and everything you hear is going to come through that lens.
Yeah.
Everything you learn and hear is going to come through the lens of like, well, what are white people up to now? Like, what crazy shit are they up to now?
Yeah. They had this wild idea years ago. That's how I got here.
Yeah. Like, and again, that's not something we should be like, hey, rub some dirt in it and move forward kind of thing. Like this. Yeah. That's something that will forever 100% be the way. Especially when he talks about like transsexual stuff, I can only I understand why people get like why they're upset because he is being very disrespectful in like a certain way, but like a lot of like his main point is that like we haven't fixed that problem yet. Like that problem is still there. Like what black people are going through, I think, and
yeah,
I don't know. I think about that all the time, especially going back to like rich 20-year-old white people is like. And I tried to make that a stand-up bit where it was like, we still have not cured cancer, but like iPhone 10s can like heal wounds. like you can scratch your iPhone 10 and it'll heal, and it's like, but diabetes is still a thing, and like AIDS is still a thing. And I was like, I don't know. I remember trying to make that a bit, and I wasn't good enough at it to really get the delivery right. But yeah, because like everybody's got their iPhone in their pocket, they just don't want to hear that shit or whatever, and it was like clumsy
it's like
delivery.
saying like it's like when you're talking about the big the big, saving the world people. The people who are like, I can't believe China is enslaving and making, there's all these kids working and, oh, it's ridiculous over there, it's communist, but that's where iPhones are made.
Yeah, that's where you buy that shit.
Super sorry.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that a significant portion of things that people don't realize are made in China are made in China. And I only know that because I worked at a company that was a wholesale company that dealt with Chinese companies. And the Chinese companies would go on vacation for, the entire month of February for their, Chinese New Year thing.
Okay,
So they take 3 weeks off. They do not work at all. And that means none of their products are coming through. So when people ordered from us, we'd be like, okay, you're going to get it in 2 months. And they'd be like, what the hell? And so I dealt with that all the time because I was customer service. And knowing that, it's like, you guys don't realize how much stuff comes from there. How many things. And yet, people are always like turning a blind eye to whatever. They're mad about one thing, but they don't want to solve another big issue.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you can't solve everything at once, but you just can't be holier than thou.
You can be mad at people thinking the earth is round these days.
Oh my God.
I found out recently that I worked with a person who was a flat earther, and she was my boss. And I just remember just being like, if I had known that then, would I have kept my job as long? Because I would have had to say something, and that's that dumb 20-year-old indignance where I just get the no, my opinion needs to happen in your face, even though generally she wasn't putting that. I found out just because she randomly shared something from a Flat Earth Facebook page.
Yeah,
and it technically wasn't even a Flat Earther thing. It was just another meme or whatever. But I just remember being like, "What were you doing on that page?" And then doing all
how'd
this
you
backtracking.
see that page?
Yeah. Just kind of backtracking, and that's. I remember getting mad at her and then having to analyze why I was mad at her, because again, my opinion is that the Earth is a big sphere, and her opinion is differently.
My opinion.
But why do that was my whole thing is why would I have felt this strong urge to argue with her on that? Because that just is that's what she needed to get up out of bed that morning, was to know that the Earth was flat and had a big dome over it, and that dome was made with God's love. That was pretty much the top and bottom of it. And
oh yeah, okay, I imagine it now. Yeah, I see that.
And that is just how she got up to go do her life. And why do I need to get pissed at that?
I like the snow globe idea, because a snow globe is not a globe.
Yeah, no, it's
it's just a flat thing with a big. Yeah, you're right.
It's like the thing in the middle of Sorry that rolls the dice.
Yeah,
that's essentially what Earth. And it's
oh, that's deeper than you think, man. Whoa. Roll the dice inside this tiny little thing.
That's all Earth is. Yeah. God pressed it once, and for the past billion or whatever years, it's just been the dice rolling over and over again.
I don't want the dice to stop rolling.
No, I don't either. And that, what? And that's the thing is that seems so dumb to me, but that is exactly kind of why my grandpa didn't like Polish people. It's I have zero at stake about what you think about everything.
I wonder if there was just one guy who was really good at writing jokes years ago who just had a bunch of different coworkers from different places.
Yeah.
And the way he was funny is he was fun guy at work.
Yeah.
He'd be at lunch and everyone's sitting around him and they're I don't know any Polish last name.
I was going to say, Evgeny over here is just being a real...
Yeah, it's he goes guy to guy.
He's just a goofy dude.
And he just makes fun of each person. Look at Polinsky over here. He thinks he's an idiot. He keeps putting his hand in his lunchbox. There's nothing in there, man, or whatever. And then they make fun of the Irish guy. They make fun of this guy. And everyone just thought it was so funny that those jokes got repeated over and over. I mean, if you think about it, even though people will say... every joke's the same. You can't write a new joke,
Yeah.
In the same way that all music has been written, so whatever, what are you gonna do?
Right.
But the idea being that all those old jokes have been changed, with oral history, but somebody had to be the first guy who was like, what about this? And then everyone just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
The difference is not that they were like, I hate these people and that's why we need to make fun of them.
No.
It's that back in the day you used to make fun of everyone, and now people are precious about whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
Especially with 23andMe, people are damn precious about their heritage because now they really, really know.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's kind of like, that was also... Yeah, people weren't as precious about it. So, like, you could have a Polish friend to come up and make Polish jokes to him,
right.
and they would make American jokes or whatever, and that was the dialogue. It was almost built around this little bit of tension more than anything, and you were friends despite it, and it kind of made the friendship like a bigger thing. And
the trouble being that the extremists take it way too far, similar to, the flat earther person, where it's like, no, you took this joke that a guy made in jest with humor and respect and love,
mm-hmm.
and you turned it into a reason to hate somebody?
Yeah.
You need to back the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the same way that it's like, listen, I appreciate that it makes you feel better to think that God's love is all around you. And when you heard in science class that ozone was a thing, you imagined it to be like a snow globe, and now that makes you feel better. And I get that. But you cannot tell me this is a flat place. You just can't. I'm super sorry. It's not how it works. Like...
I love looking at the evidence they have that the Earth is flat because, it's all based on what you can observe as one person standing. It's always like, well, why is the horizon flat and things like that? And it's like, because it's fucking how your eyeballs work that far away. Like, just get over it, And they're all based off of how a human being experiences the Earth, as opposed to and to spit in the face of every bit of science that comes against it. Like the only way we could figure out the Earth was a big sphere is because people had to fly up there, like look down on it and go, it's just a big ball, and then come back down and tell everybody.
Fly around it,
yeah. But these are like uppity astronauts, just being like, who knows? They're paid by the governments. They're probably full of government lies. Like for real.
Are flat earthers government lies people?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Because I was thinking that it was more just like more of the like navel gazing, self importance stuff that we were talking about.
No, like it's always, and they use like the fact that like NASA has been like severely defunded as like a starting off point to like discredit anything NASA has told us about the Earth.
I think there should be flat earther cruises where they try to
go to
sail, but they'll end up sailing around the thing. I mean, I guess technically you'll hit stuff in between.
Yeah.
But when they get in a boat in New York and they end up in like, Portugal or whatever,
mm-hmm.
What are you going to do? How are you going to argue that? Okay, great. If that's what you think, keep walking. Keep moving. All the way over. Get through Russia, other side. We're over here by Japan. Water again. Sweet. Hop in that water. See if you hit California, okay? Yeah. Try it. It's a thing you can do.
You know what? If kids today want to eat Tide Pods. No, I like the whole Tide Pod thing. Have you seen that? I love the Tide Pod thing.
I feel like Tide Pods are Darwin trying real hard again.
Oh, well, see, I love it because it's like, it basically just started off as this inside joke on Reddit about like, because...
Did it start out as an inside joke on Reddit?
Yeah, because...
Like, nobody did it, but somebody said, wouldn't it be funny? And then all of a sudden somebody did it and died?
Yeah, in like the past 15 or 20 years... In the past, like, 15 or 20 years, there's been, like, 5 people that have died from Tide Pod. Like,
sure.
eating detergent. And it's more just because, like, there's this big community in Reddit that are just, like, nihilists. They're kind of ready to die whenever. Like, they make jokes all the time about, like, committing suicide as just being a way to go ahead and knock this out. Like, people are so disenfranchised with life on Reddit and stuff, that the Tide Pod thing built up there.
I feel like people who are disenfranchised with life in this particular way probably have money. But
okay.
I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's like, I kind of get it on some level. Like,
sure. I mean,
I've always just been like, hey, if I don't want to ride a roller coaster anymore, I can make them stop riding. I can make them stop the roller coaster and let me off. Like that kind of thing. I feel like that's how life can be sometimes, or it should be.
You can't stop a roller coaster.
You can before it starts.
Sure, but you can't once it starts.
Right, but whereas, like, I would say that anywhere in the first 20 years of your life, that's the roller coaster just kind of starting.
I think the whole thing's the roller coaster.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Regardless. Metaphor, distinctions be damned.
Yeah, it's...
Tell me more about the Tide Pods and the Reddit situation.
So yeah, it was just... it just showed up in memes where it was like that was a quick way to just out it, you know, just to go ahead and like peace. And because Tide Pods are there, they look like candy. People, you know, like, and all of a sudden it started to like bleed into Facebook and social media.